Well, hey there. How are you doing today? No, really. I want to know. Let me know in the comments how you're doing today. I figured we would get together today and do a follow up on the natural stains that we done. It's been a week. We want to see how they held up over the week. And I have a couple of more things to try. I've got some grape Kool-Aid and some black cherry Kool-Aid to try for stains. And I have the still wool and vinegar I mixed last week, which is as dissolved as it's going to get, I believe. So we're going to try it out today too and see how it does. All right, guys, let's get to it. Okay, now I cut out some test pieces here, and we have a control piece, of course, cut from the same piece. And we also have a couple of more test pieces. But you know what? First, let's go ahead and go over our update. This was the red cabbage that we done in the last video. It did leave it kind of purple, but not really bright. This was the beets. That turned out a nice purple reddish color. It faded more to purple from red, but it still looks nice, honestly. This is the dark roast coffee. It's a slightly darker color than the control piece, as you can see. It's a nice darker color if you like light colored stains. This is the grape juice. Of course, we figured that would be purple. The yellow onion skins didn't really do much. Of course, that may be because I didn't mix it strong enough. But there it is against the control piece. You can see a slight little difference. And here is my favorite by far, the blueberries. They turned out the beautifulest purple color you ever did see, I believe. There it is up against the control piece. Very nice. And that's after a week, so they've held up pretty good. The only thing I done other than what you saw was I did shoot a quick spray of shellac over top of them. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. But that's all that I done extra was hitting it with the shellac. Just one quick spray down just to protect it. Okay, now let's get on with the program here. New pack of staining pads at Harbor Freight. At the Harbor Freight here, they're $3.99 for a pack of 8. I've always just thrown them away. I don't know if you can wash and reuse them. I've never really considered trying, but we'll start out with the grape Kool-Aid. All I did was pour the Kool-Aid pouch in the half-pint jar and fill it the rest of the way up with boiling water and put the lid on it and shake it. That's all I did to make the Kool-Aid. It made it pretty strong, much stronger than what the recipe on the package calls for, but we want it stronger to see if it'll do anything to the wood. Uh-oh, I should have covered my workbench first. Okay. I'll let that dry, and I'm going to cover the workbench, and I'll come back and get it. There we go. That's a little bit of protection, and now we'll go with the black cherry Kool-Aid and see what it does. I mixed it the same way. Emptied the pack in the jar and filled it up with water, with boiling water, and shook it. That might give a nice color. I hope it does, because that's a nice color right there. As long as it stays that way. Okay. Now, for this still wool and vinegar, I am not 100% sure if you're supposed to dip this in it or wipe it on. First, we will try wiping it on just like normal stain, and then we'll go from there. Get it nice and shook up, and then we'll coat our sponge. And we'll take our piece of wood and wipe it on. I don't know, that just looks like you're wiping water on it. Don't really look like anything to me. But we'll give it a few minutes and see what it does. In the meantime, I know that it's cold right now, but I also know that springtime is right around the corner. And I do have some springtime builds coming up to carry you guys through spring and summer, into summer. I will have you guys prepared. Okay, let's let these dry for a few minutes and we'll check back in on them, okay? Okay, guys, we've been soaking for about 4 minutes, so let's do our first wipe down and see what we have. That's the black cherry. Even on one coat, that gives a nice red color. This was the grape Kool-Aid. That's kind of disappointing. I was expecting much more color than that. And here was the still wool and vinegar. It didn't give us quite the color we wanted, so we're going to do another coat just to keep things going and see how it turns out. Alright. I went ahead and poured some of the vinegar in the cup here, just in the bottom of the bottle I cut off just to make it easier on me to get a good coat on the wood there. There we go. That'll be a nice good coat. Okay. Now, shake the black cherry back up and we'll do another coat of it. See if it gets deeper. Okay, and now for the grape Kool-Aid. We will do another coating of it, and maybe it'll do better than it had. Okay. Alright. We'll let those dry now. And I'm going to take one of these smaller pieces, and I'm just going to set it in the cup with the vinegar just to see what happens there. Okay, we'll check back with it in a few minutes and see what we've got. You know, while we're waiting on those to dry, I wanted to talk to you for a second. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and comment on this video. It really helps us. And if this channel helps you, make sure you subscribe to get updates for all the upcoming videos. We've got some spring into summer builds coming up really soon for you, so be prepared. Okay, that puts us at about 3 or 4 minutes. Time for another wipe down. Grape Kool-Aid first. And as you can see, after coat number 2, we got a little bit of a purple color out of that. Now for the black cherry Kool-Aid. A very nice thread coming out of that. Now for the still wool and vinegar. It is darkening up quite a bit, but it's not turning it black like I thought that it would. Let's check the one we dipped in the cup. That's the one we had dipped in the cup. We will give everything one final coat here, and then I think we're going to call it. There's the still wool and vinegar for one final coat. And we'll dip this back in again. Now for the grape Kool-Aid, for the one more coat here. And you do have to remember that this is cedar, so there was a little bit of red on it to begin with, so that does change the color in some places compared to others. And you can tell that from the control piece, the sapwood is lighter and the rest of it is redder. So, okay, we'll do one more black cherry coat here. But I think that's about as much color as we're going to get out of the black cherry, because that's a really nice red. Now we'll let those dry for a few minutes. And I do want to take the time to let you guys know that we now have a Facebook group. I will pin the link to the Facebook group in the comments below so that you guys can come and join the group. And I'll share pictures of how these look after a week. And we can discuss anything you need to discuss. If you have questions or need help, feel free to ask. We'll come back in a few more minutes and see how they look. Okay, guys, that's another about 4 minutes of drying time, so let's give it a wipe down. Start out with the grape Kool-Aid. And that did give us a little bit of a purple coat, but the red from the cedar makes it look more black than purple. You can see it soaked way in. Look how deep that soaked. Now for the black cherry. The black cherry Kool-Aid absolutely soaked in good, and that left a nice red color. I like it. I may have to use it sometime. Now the still wool and vinegar. I won't lie, I'm kind of disappointed in the way that came out. Maybe I didn't mix it strong enough or something. I will be broaching this subject again when the blackberries and things come in. But I mean, on the side it absolutely blackened it on the edge grain there, but it just didn't have the effect that I understood that it was going to have. The one that we've had soaking in the cup. darkened some, but not a whole lot. You can't really tell anything about it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray those with a quick little shot of shellac, just to preserve them and maybe keep it from molding or anything like that that could happen. I don't think that they would mold, but just to be on the safer side. And there's what you have, guys. I'll walk you over there and let you have a good look at it. Black cherry Kool-Aid. And here's the control piece. Grape Kool-Aid against the control piece. Dipped in still wool and vinegar against the control piece. And the one that we used like stain against the control piece. Now, if anything was to change, like if they were to darken overnight or something, I will put that in a post on the Facebook, or not in the Facebook group, but on the YouTube channel so that you guys can see it. I hope these videos have helped you guys. I really do. This has been a really interesting project for me. I'm going to close it out now until spring and summer gets here, when, you know, the berries come in, and then I'm going to try some blackberries, some walnut husks, some raspberries, and mulberries if I can get my hands on this mulberry bush up here in the woods. It's not exactly in a spot that I can get to, but I can try to figure it out. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you here pretty soon. You guys have a great day.